Saint Teresa of Ávila, Virgin and Doctor of the Church 1515 to 1582. Feast Day October 15th. Patron saint of headache sufferers and lace makers. Teresa of Jesus or Teresa of Ávila grew up in a time of exploration. Many people went in search of new lands, peoples, and made efforts to understand their native cultures. Christopher Columbus stumbled on the Americas in his effort to find a sea route to China. It was a time of political, social, and religious tensions, much like the present day. A couple of years after her birth, Martin Luther began the Protestant Reformation, and she died 20 years after the close of the Council of Trent. As she matured in both age and wisdom, she became an independent woman, so independent that she overcame her father's objections, when she announced she wanted to join the Sisters of Mount Carmel, the Carmelites. The Carmelites really didn't know what they were getting into. She was an energetic reformer. She was a woman of God, a woman of prayer, compassion, and many talents. Her many writings, thus the title of Doctor of the Church, were drawn from her own experience and were powerful, practical, and graceful. She was a reformer of herself and the Rite of the Carmelite Rulebook. She was from a large, middle-class, and pious family. As a girl, Teresa dreamed of being a martyr, or a hermit. When she entered Avila's Carmelite convent, she did so because it was a matter of convenience, because it was located in her hometown. The convent was large, and the nuns appeared serious. But it was a bit too comfortable for some. Many nuns brought their social status into the cloister, a place of religious seclusion, and some nuns even had private kitchens, private oratories, places of prayer, and guest rooms. But change was necessary to restore the order to their mission. In 1566 she wrote the Way of Perfection, and was followed by the Interior Castle in 1577, both of which are being sold by many modern-day booksellers. Both titles are about prayer. The first was written for make progress in the contemplative life, the second describes the depths of intimacy with God that we pass through over a lifetime of prayer and contemplation. Teresa decided to found a new Carmelite convent. There was fierce opposition from within her own convent and from the rest of the Carmelite order. Her journey of reform began in the mid-1550s, and bore fruit when her first convent opened in Avila in 1562. Her sisters wore no shoes, the meaning of the word descalced, were limited to 13 per convent, and would accept neither dowries nor endowments. She and Saint John of the Cross joined forces to stir reform movements within the Carmelites. Teresa guided the women's convents and John of the Cross guided the men's monasteries. The end result was astounding. Both the men and women Carmelites became more structured in their approach to God, and their communities grew as they were joined by like-minded individuals. She and Saint Catherine of Siena were the first women to be honored with the title, Doctor of the Church, in 1970. The concepts written in her books brought about reforms in the life of Saint Teresa, but also within the order of the Carmelites.